1v1, but used the ultimate too close to when the sudden death was going to come up, and that was kind of the defining moment of that head-to-head of Tristana versus Akali. So we'll see if Levi versus Uzi looks a little bit different. I am really scared for Levi because I just feel like no one pushes advantages in the early game better than Uzi.
Yeah,
both on Summoner's Rift, and it seems like here, right?
Abyss, yeah.
And so it's just so scary to think, all right, you're on Akali, you're up against Uzi's Tristana. Is he just going to kill your tower? Like, are you just going to lose the game straight up before you even get to fight him? You know, that is something that would be in the back of my mind going up against Uzi. Like, do I need to force an early fight? Am I going to be getting too far behind? But let's see if Levi can play it out as well as he's going to need to take down Uzi. We are mirrored on the combat summoners. Ignite barrier for both players. Levi will have his opportunities. I think your best chance probably is to be able to wait until you can get to that Gunblade, wait until the Ring of Fire, have everything available, and try to win that one all-in against Uzi.
See if you can make that one happen. Arm Guard's going to be stacking up at the beginning. I still expect Jarm's Fist to come through at some point for Uzi. I think it is a smart pickup. It's good stats, but we'll see it after the first set of recalls. Hexdrinker probably gets added to that lineup there as well, and if Levi's not getting wrecked in lane, should be able to get Arm Guard Gunblade. We'll see if those items do come through. Early laning phase goes to Trist early on. Yeah,
I mean, it's a good point, right? You know, normally we've seen actually every Akali player, I think, if it went to the end, get to that, at least that. You know, Faker actually got pretty far beyond that because he had a kill and he had got turret plates, everything. He had tabbies, he had an elixir, he had like all kinds of stuff. But Uzi has created such enormous advantages. Like when you look at the Renekton versus Kalista game, Levi wouldn't have had enough gold for that sort of an item set in that one. So we'll see how well Levi can play this out. I do believe he just used that Shroud, so that's going to be on cooldown. He will have to be playing it pretty safe in these early levels. You need some additional points in your queue before the wave clear can really become kind of threatening. And Uzi's going to be working away at that tower already.
A little bit of early damage. Going to get that first play without too much difficulty. 120 gold, thank you very much. Charge knocks the minions a little bit low. It'll make the next bit of wave clear pretty easy as well. Bit of poke coming through from Levi, but we are seeing a CS difference. Decent damage. E hits the minion though, so not ideal there.
Yeah, you also got to remember that there is turret plating. I want to say for the first like 1 or 2 minutes of the game. I know
the fortification accurate, to get half damage. Yeah,
excuse me, fortification, not turret plating. Obviously, with that lasts much longer. So that first little bit of damage Uzi did on the turret will be much higher later on as that turret fortification should fall off, and that's where you're going to be getting pretty scared. But Uzi, happy to take this trade, jumps away after the health pack lands, mind you, so he will have, I believe, that damage buff, and he does have access to his own health pack.
All right, so health bar a little bit low, though. Levi, if he can find another E at some point, and the problem is the minion wave's not good for him. It's both going to block skill shots and deal damage back.
And also Uzi will hit 6 first because he's killed off more minions. So Uzi is actually going to back out before Levi can get 6, knowing that there is potential for an all-in there. Uzi will just take the health pack away from his opponent and will look to reset. I would be expecting a Hexdrinker. Yeah, he's just going to go straight for that. I think Jorm's Fist is smart, as you're talking about, but it feels like people are less comfortable going for that because it's not something they're as used to. So Hexdrinker Rush has pretty much been the build for all marksman players in these types of matchups thus far. Don't know where Uzi is going to take us after this, if he's going to try to build towards an item completion or an individual component that's very effective. We'll have to see what he wants to do.
Yeah, definitely some options. We've seen a lot of stopwatches. I wouldn't, by the way, ever build it until sudden death or you've died once, because immuning, like if you immune a kill, you stop 400 gold. Congrats, that item costs you more than that.
Yeah.
Like, and the opportunity cost of the stats it would have given you. So I don't think it's ever worth doing until the kill would end the game for you, and then it's fine.
Yeah, and I mean, if you can bring in a stopwatch to sudden death and actually stopwatch the R2 from Akali or something like that, that can be a game-winning play because, you know, yes, Akali could win that potential 1v1 in a small enclosed quarter. We know Akali can burst down a marksman, but Triss can also buster shot you out into the Ring of Fire, which can be an advantage for her. So we'll see how Uzi's going to be able to play this out. But thus far, much more even than the Kalista versus Renekton game. You know, Levi keeping close in the experience. His farm has been pretty good. He's been actually, you know, playing out this Akali match very well. Picks up another cannon there. So, you know, he's on pace to make this much more competitive.
Waits out the E-Ignite, comes in. Big damage coming across. Has the rocket ship over the top. But back to his own turret. Needs to land the onslaught.
Lost vision.
Oh. When can Levi find a skill shot? Because Uzi's going to push this wave in. But now where can he go? He's waiting, and Rockjum's up in a couple seconds.
Yeah, Uzi didn't know how close Levi was in that brush, so he actually used the barrier. You know, Levi wasn't in range, but he didn't know, could he shuriken flip in and actually hit me down? So Uzi was, you know, 1 hit from death. It is a full trade, ults and both summoners down for both players. But Uzi, because he has all that lifesteal, is going to sustain up enough to stay around, where Levi, it's much more dangerous, it feels like. So Uzi's going to be able to get a second turret plate. Levi wants to stay around wave clear, wants to get that cannon, will miss it, and will lose, it looks like 2 more turret plates. So one has already fallen. Another one's going to fall at least on the next wave. And if you know that Levi recalled, you could actually stay around and potentially get it even lower. But Uzi's going to prioritize refilling his health, refilling his mana, and making sure that he's on even footing for any potential fight.
I think it's the right call. I think greeting for the 120 gold on that plate is not worth it. We'll see what he adds. Blue trinket picked up at level 9, I believe it is. You can buy a blue trinket. We've only seen some of the players recognize that, and looks like Hexdrinker upgraded all the way into Maw, so we are seeing the upgrade path quite a lot. If you are going to call that item gold efficient, it's through the lifesteal and spell vamp. That happens after the shield breaks. Otherwise, on a base stat level, it's not worth bidding. But if he's going for a more protected trade where you got a lifesteal back up, then that shield can be useful. And
we have seen that actually happen even just today, right?
Yeah.
You know, in the Lee Sin matchup where Bippo had, I believe it was that Maw, he actually got a ton out of the lifeline. You know, kind of healing that up. But we will see how Uzi is going to be able to play this out. As he has that full Maw, he has the double Doran, so he is going to be having a lot of sustain. And, you know, Levi does have to be careful because at a certain point, the turret plating falls, and then even all the bonus armor is going to be gone from those turrets that has stacked up after every additional plate is knocked off. The turret gets more tanky.
Yeah, the plate's at like 115 armor MR right now. It's like something pretty high, and then that goes back to 0. So it essentially takes double damage during sudden death.
And you have to remember that it is actually only a 1700 health turret, right? So when it's this low and it has no armor, and one round of kind of explosive shot will actually kill the turret potentially. So you have to be pretty careful about that, and that is why Levi is trying to wave clear aggressively and not allow Uzi to just step up and get those shots off for free.
Yeah, the last plate is under 1,000 HP on it. Like it's pretty easy to get, and when you have 140 attack damage, that's 7 autos and the game ends. So that's numbers you got to watch out for. That's timing you got to watch out for. Uzi can get a little bit of damage here, but has to respect what Levi could do back to him. Obviously, the wave clear not too bad on a level 10 Akali. He's one hit from that turret plate falling, and this is the last wave that you can really kill, and I would take the recall. There should be almost 1,000 gold in Uzi's inventory.
Yeah, Levi, I think, probably wants to clear this wave, get the final cannon, and make sure he has Gunblade gold, right? And then it's just going to be all down to this fight. How can these guys play it out in the final moments? They're both going to be level 11, both combat sums up, ignite, everything available, and the ultimates here. So we'll see. He does have the Gunblade. He does have an additional cloth armor. He gets a rejuve bead. That's probably the only gold he had. He would have been 50 gold off an elixir, which if you could have got, probably would have been better than the cloth plus the rejuve bead.
Yeah. Cloth was bought a while ago. Cloth was actually on a previous recall when he got like double longsword cloth armor, so that gets awkward with selling.
Then you obviously couldn't have done that.
To the elixir point though, for Uzi, I would have done longsword red elixir instead of vamp scepter. I think that would be just outright a better build, but we are Uzi in a pretty good spot. Gold pretty close though.
Yeah, Uzi has to be a little bit careful because there is the 20% current health buff on Levi that does now expire. Uzi did not have it as he backed out, and Levi's looking for it. He doesn't want to wait too long for that Ring of Fire to close in.
And he wants to wait out the rest of the E, so it can't be charged anymore. Lands more auto attacks. Ignite goes on. That's when you might go for the pushback. Gets a bunch of damage in the melee range. When's the knockback coming in? Finally does it, but he's not getting burned just yet. He's waiting out the Maw shield. Jumps backwards. This kill could go to Levi. Needs to land a Q and an auto attack. Can't get that one though, and the brush is going to run out. He's barely anywhere to stand. He's invisible. Can't find the range. He's out of energy. Puts the W down, and he burns down. Uzi gets the kill.
Oh, Levi with a little dance move there.
Knew it.
At the end, he knew he had been beaten. That was really damn close, though. You could see both players were trying to play around that Buster Shot. Levi was trying to leave his shuriken flip up to hope that Uzi would Buster Shot into it, and then he could actually flip back in. Uzi was trying to wait until all of the movement spells were on cooldown to then Buster Shot, but he got too low and had to actually use it defensively. So this was a really close, well played out 1v1. Uzi does end up taking it 2-0, and here is that final fight again. See, notice how he's waiting as long as possible for that shuriken flip. Uzi pre-barriers the R2 there. And then the Buster Shot has to come down because he's getting too low. But the Lifeline passive became pretty relevant here. He gets a little bit of damage, he jumps back, and he has Lifeline active plus double Doran's Blade and whatever runes he had. Try to lifesteal up off these minions. So he's actually clearing it out. Look at this, 44 health per auto on those minions. That is a ton of health he actually got back.
Yeah.
And then Levi with a little dance move, knew he was going to go down, died to an explosive shot off of the minion, but damn, that was close.
Close, so smart stuff. Uzi, cutting back. He's like, all right, hey, you know what? This advantages me.
That life's
health's going up. Yeah, really, really big deal there. So maybe actually Vamp Pepper was better with how much he was actually hitting minions. It ended up being really nice. The melee minion, I was wondering how he got the damage, because the guy was stealth and it was hitting the melee minion. Split it for 150, knocked him down.
Yeah, well, it would have been, you know, he would have had life steal from the Wrath Potion anyway.
I think it's champion only damage. I thought. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I could be wrong
I
too.
think Wrath is champion only.
Actually,
regardless, Uzi is the better player. Whippo, Uzi, gonna be the battle in the final. That's gonna close out the day, so stay tuned throughout the rest of All-Stars for that climactic best of 3.
Uzi has been a monster.
Uzi's been an absolute monster.
Uzi has been slamming everyone,
Yeah.
but Whippo was counted out against the Shy. You know, people were thinking that the Shy was favored there. Whippo managed to take that one down, but Uzi just doesn't seem to make mistakes. That is the craziest thing to me, is that even in these matchups that seem really, really difficult, he is always playing exactly around what his opponent's win conditions are. He is executing flawlessly on what he needs to do.
Yeah.
He is CSing perfectly. Like, he is just doing everything right, and it is so hard to see holes in his game, so I'm excited to see what Whippo can come up with.
Gonna be a lot of fun. So for more on how Uzi made his return to the 1v1 final, let's